All right, it's Dr. Heather here. It is time to get into your next step. By this point, you have heard my module on how to reintroduce certain foods coming off of the metabolic clearing program. Now, once you've reintroduced these foods, you're going to be on the last diet. This is the next step. Now, your practitioner may modify any of these recommendations and customize them for you and your case and your own health concerns. But in general, these are going to be the guidelines. So I'm going to share my screen with you. So we're going to start here. So this isn't really different from what you were doing with the metabolic clearing program as far as veggies. We want to eat as many veggies as we possibly can, like 2 servings with each meal, so at least 6 servings of vegetables per day. And you're going to want to eat 3 times as many vegetables as you eat animal protein. All veggies are okay except for white potatoes and corn. And remember, corn is not a grain. Oh, corn is a grain, is not a vegetable. So eat away at all your vegetables. Just stay away from white potatoes. And white potatoes means if you cut into the potato and the inside it's white, that means a white potato. Okay? So let's move on. Animal protein. So you're going to have 3 to 5 ounces of animal protein with each meal. That's like the size of the palm of your hand, okay? You don't have to go crazy and weigh it. However, I did start weighing my food at the beginning, so I just understood what the proportions were, but I don't go crazy and weigh my food anymore. All animal protein is allowed and ideally fresh, which would be chicken, fish, turkey, lamb, shellfish, beef, pork, and wild game. You want to make sure that your beef, or not your beef, all of your protein is hormone and antibiotic free. That's first. And once you get there, if you want to go the next step further, organic is even better. And then when we're dealing with our red meat, you want to make sure as much as you possibly can to do grass-fed. Now know that when it says pasture raised, it doesn't mean that it was only raised in the pasture. When it's pasture raised, it means it could be grain finished. So make sure you ask the butcher to clarify the terminology that they're using, because a lot of the times it could be grass-fed and grain finished. It could be pasture raised and grain finished. You don't want the grain finishing. Do you remember when I was talking about grain finish, like they finish off these cows like the last couple of months of their life with corn, and that adds fat and marbling to the meat. And although it kind of tastes good, that's what's also happening to your fat and your muscles, is it's going to turn into marble. So we want to have the best high quality protein we can absolutely get, which would be grass-fed and grass-finished. Okay, now do the best you can. And if finances are a concern, do the best you can. Finances should not be an excuse. I've had patients that were on food stamps that were able to stick with it. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it's definitely harder than somebody that has more money, but it definitely is not an excuse. So you can have all kinds of protein: chicken, fish, turkey, lamb, shellfish, beef, pork, wild game. You want to really shoot for hormone and antibiotic free. If you can afford it, you want to get organic. And then as far as the red meat is concerned, you want grass-fed and grass-finished. Now, you're going to avoid canned or processed meats. So like Spam, so like your Vienna sausages, like that kind of meat, you really want to stay away from it. You don't want to eat a lot of canned tuna fish either, because it has a lot of high mercury in it. The smaller fish, the better. So I, from time to time, eat sardines, and I will eat anchovies out of a can. But it's not something that I do daily or even monthly, so I do that sparingly. You also want to avoid hormones, and you want to also avoid nitrates and nitrites. So you'll find those in all the processed stuff. So if you're going to buy bacon, you're going to buy sausage, you're going to buy lunch meat, you want to make sure that it's hormone free, it's nitrate and nitrite free, It's antibiotic free and gluten free. So just read the packaging and make sure it follows all of those recommendations. Now, fruit, you're going to eat fruit in between your meals as snacks. Okay? Do not combine fruit with animal protein, meaning like don't have sausage and fruit. I want you to have like your protein and vegetables for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then you're going to have your fruit in between your meals. You're only going to eat 2 servings per day, and 1 serving equals 1 cup or 1 piece. Like an apple typically would be 1 cup, an orange, 1 serving. Berries, you want to put it in a cup, or if you're going to do a melon or something, you'll cut it up into pieces and put it into a cup so that you're not overeating your fruit. You want to keep your fructose to less than 10 grams per day. And you should know this from a previous video, and I did upload that document, so just keep that document handy. It's also in the last diet book. And then you want to avoid all fruit juice, no exceptions. And fat, yes, fat. We are not scared of fat. It is really great for your brain. It is really great for your skin. It is great for your body. All of your cell walls are made of fat. We are a bunch of fat, and we cannot go fat free because then we will dry and shrivel up and our bodies will not be happy, and neither will our brains. So we want to make sure that you're having olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, SCT oil. Okay, so this is all the same stuff, nothing new. Foods and fats and oils to avoid: canola oil, vegetable oil, soybean oil, peanut oil, and margarine or shortening. Excuse me. All right, all of this still the same as before. Allowed. All nuts and seeds are allowed except for peanuts and soy nuts, and preferably raw or dry roasted. Make sure there's not any bad oils when they do a roasting process. Maximum of half a cup per day. Sweeteners allowed: stevia, xylitol, coconut sugar, and grade A dark amber. Maple syrup. I haven't necessarily wanted to count and track the amount of sugar, but I think it's important, because sometimes if I say you can have maple syrup, then you're going to pour like this whole thing on, whatever it is that you're going to pour it on. So let's really try to keep any of these sweeteners to 1 to 2 tablespoons maximum per day. You're going to avoid honey, sugar, all artificial sweeteners. So Splenda, Equal, and Sweet and Low, completely avoid all of those. Many of those sweeteners, first of all, they're not just like sugar, and it makes your body have the same insulin response to sugar, even though it has 0 calories. And many of those are neurotoxins, so it's very bad for your brain. And for those of you who don't have brain fog that you notice now in your 30s, 40s, and 50s, you will be really concerned when you're 70 and it's hard to reverse. So please preserve your brain function, prevent Alzheimer's and cognitive decline, and stay far, far away from these neurotoxic sweeteners. Okay, no grains. It's still the same story. No wheat, rye, barley, quinoa, farro, spelt, oat, rice, corn, wheat berry, bulgur wheat, and any foods that are battered and breaded. Also, you will find hidden gluten or hidden grains in soups, salad dressings, and in sauces on food. So when you go out to restaurants, you have to make sure when you order, you are ordering either from a gluten-free menu, from a menu that is indicated gluten-free, or you have to ask your server if what you want to order is gluten-free, or if it can be made gluten-free. Don't be scared when you go into a restaurant to tell them what you want. If there's nothing on the menu that you can eat, there's always, typically in America, a hamburger. So please just say, I would like the hamburger with no bun on a bed of lettuce, or something like that. So you can make up whatever you want to make up. When I'm doing a cleanse and I go into a restaurant, I'll say, can I have some grilled fish and veggies? And almost every restaurant has that. If they don't, you're probably eating at the wrong restaurant. So don't be scared to create your own thing from the menu. Don't worry, it's not that big of a deal. They're not going to spit in your food. It's easier for them for you to tell them what you want than them try to make something up sometimes. Okay. No grains. Now, if you are dying for some corn chips or tortillas, I'm from South Texas, so I just love Mexican food. And thank goodness for this company, Siete. I have no financial ties to this company. I just really love their product. So they have tortilla chips made from coconut flour and cassava flour. Now, cassava is a root vegetable. It is pretty starchy, so you don't want to go crazy and eat like a whole bag of these, but you can eat these chips sparingly. And I would not be scared if you go and you eat Mexican food to take your own bag of these chips. Just say, don't bring the chips. You could bring an empty bowl, dump them in there, and then have fun with the salsa. Also, you can see up here in this right-hand corner, they make a queso that is dairy-free. They make it with cashews, and it actually is really good. My kids could not tell that it was made from cashews, and if they like it, then anybody will like it. Now, also, we have these almond flour tortillas down here, and these are amazing too. I like to make breakfast burritos from time to time with eggs, bacon, or sausage with some avocado and some salsa, making my mouth water as we speak. And these almond flour tortillas are really great. This is what I recommend. The other one that you could get away with is a cassava and coconut flour tortilla made by the same company. Those tend to stay together a little bit better than the almond flour ones, but the almond flour ones are just as tasty and they are delicious. All right, so still we are no dairy. So no butter, no milk, no cheeses, no yogurt made from cow's milk. As long as you don't have a sensitivity to eggs, you have those back in, and you can have any of the unsweetened almond, coconut milk, almond or coconut milk yogurt. In another module, I go over dairy as well, and there's a couple of other suggestions. You can do macadamia nut milk, and you can do cashew milk if you do it sparingly. But please stay away from the other milks that are made from grains, like rice milk and oat milk and quinoa milk and hemp milk. We're just going to stay away from all the grain-based milks, okay? Now, here's some really great suggestions. This is a company called Kite Hill, and they have a lot of dairy alternatives. So they have, you can see here, they have a ranch dip, and they also have a chive cream cheese, and they have French onion dip. They have, let's see what else they have. Let's see, a truffle, dill, and chive cream cheese, an original cream cheese. They have ricotta cheese, and they have all of these yogurts as well. Just make sure the yogurt is unsweetened. Now, you can also do coconut milk yogurt if you like that better. It just needs to be unsweetened. So what I like to do is I will put some berries in the unsweetened yogurt, and then I'll put some chopped nuts on top, and it is so good. And it makes the perfect snack. So a little blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, not more than a cup. Dump them on top of your yogurt with some chopped nuts, and it is really good. So these are some alternatives for dairy. And what I know is that if you get creative and you have substitutions, then you're not going to feel as deprived. And when you're going over to friends' houses, don't worry. Just bring your own stuff. That way you can say, I have my diet, I have some food sensitivities. My diet is difficult. So we just bring our own food. And these like little vegetable boards and charcuterie boards are super fun to make. They look beautiful, and you can just put your own dips on there. I mean, look how great that looks. So making charcuterie boards is really fun for me. And I say charcuterie, which is just all of your meats, but you can do them with vegetables just like they did here, and it's just beautiful. So these are some great examples. Now let's talk about beverages. You can have water, and you want to maintain half your body weight in ounces of water every single day. Now if you're still thirsty, you may have herbal tea. You want to discuss drinking, adding back caffeine into your diet with your practitioner because each person is different. Now, caffeine, there is all different kinds of mixed studies that contradict each other. And really what we have to be careful with is how healthy are your adrenal glands, because caffeine can impact your adrenal glands, which impacts your blood sugar. And so and when it impacts your blood sugar, or when it stresses your body out and creates cortisol, then you'll gain weight in the midsection from caffeine. The other thing with caffeine is that the sources that it can come from, green tea, black tea, coffee, your body can create an immune reaction just like it does with gluten. So it would be like you eating a big piece of bread when you drink a cup of coffee. So you want to talk to your practitioner and ask them if you can add back in caffeine, how much caffeine, and what is a good source of that, if you want to do that. So alcohol, it's best if you avoid it completely. However, if on occasion you want to have an alcoholic drink, remember alcohol is pure sugar. So if you're a diabetic, it's going to make your blood sugar go up. If you have an autoimmune condition, it's going to make your blood sugar unstable. If you're trying to lose weight, it's going to make you fat. So really think about if it's worth it for you to have an alcoholic beverage. But if you do, no more than 2 drinks at one time and not 2 days in a row. And I would even say like no more than 2 drinks a week. But really talk to your practitioner and see what your practitioner recommends for your individual healthcare requirements. Now, clear liquors are the best. So if you want to do tequila, gin, I'm forgetting all of my liquors. Tequila, gin, vodka, and make sure that you don't add sugar in it, right? So no sodas on top of that. You can do it with water. You can do it with, there's not much else. So, if you want tequila with lime juice, so you got to watch the mixers. Even tonic water has a lot of sugar in it, and this is where alcohol can get us in trouble. Even wine has quite a bit of sugar in it, and it will make your blood sugar go up. So you really have to be careful about what it is that you're drinking, okay? All right, so that concludes the guidelines for the next phase, the last diet. In the next module, I'm going to go over the actual cookbook and the explanation of everything and kind of give you a tour of the book so that you can use that as a resource. I hope this was helpful. And remember, your body was born to heal.